the earth, make straight a highway, a path for the Lord. Jesus is coming soon. Call back the sinner, wake up the saint.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all enjoyed those first few clips at the beginning. That was from my Diamond Sweetheart, Phylum, and Crosstalk Bible studies that I attend. I think it's really cool that I have so many different Bible studies that I can attend with such a variety of people and just different people to worship with every single day of the week. It's really awesome. As you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about hearing God's voice. And to start out, I want to let you know that it took me about 1.5 years to hear God's voice. The first time I ever remember hearing him was my senior year when I was in a relationship at a church retreat on Valentine's Day, and he told me to break up with the guy I was seeing at the time. And I told the guy, hey, God's telling me to break up with you and this and that. And he and his friends talked me out of it, and they were like, no, she's just on a Jesus high, she's fine. And I listened to him, and I ignored God, and that just ended really badly. And about my second semester of freshman year, I finally decided and finally opened up to hearing God, and it was really awesome. It's awesome how he can move you when you're actually willing to hear what he has to say and not what you want to hear. And I'll have 2 Bible verses that I'm going to go over, and I have a couple others that I'll leave in the description box below, but there's 2 in Psalms that they're actually back to back that I really just want to focus on. So the first one that I want to focus on is Psalms 34:17-18, which says, when the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. And what I really like about that is we seem to turn to him with our, mediocre prayers and our small prayers. And I think it's really important to turn to him with our bold, awkward, deep, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching prayers. Because if we only turn to him for the small stuff, then we're kind of saying hey, you can only deal with the small stuff. And he's never not going to answer our prayers. He will always answer our prayers. It may not be the next day, it may not be the next month, it may be 10 years down the line, but he will answer them, whether it's the way you think it's supposed to be or not. But either way, the outcome is going to be greater than you could have ever imagined. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, is they don't think God hears their prayers or that they're ever going to be answered. And sometimes it just takes time because he wants you to heal, he wants you to grow before that prayer is answered. And it's hard to hear God when you really don't want to hear it. And the verse that goes with that is Jeremiah 33:3. And if you don't want to hear it, then you won't. Or if you only want to hear your answer, you're not going to hear his answer. And I think that's something that was really hard for me to understand at first, because I couldn't understand why I wasn't hearing his voice when I was like, God, I need this, I need that, I want this to be healed, I want this person to be healed. But I wasn't really looking for an answer. I was just kind of almost venting to him. And I think it's really important that we remember that, he hears us. It's just, are we willing to hear him? And he speaks in other ways than just through his words. I think one way he used to speak to me before I could actually hear his voice was through other people. He would place people in my life that were going through situations that I had gone through, so that I could help them through it. And I slowly started to be able to hear his voice. In my Diamond Sweetheart Bible study, we were talking about how he uses natural disasters and occurrences to speak to us. One of the examples was 9/11 and the Wimberley flooding in Texas, and how both of those just brought community together to help rebuild everything from the destruction that had happened and from all the hurt that was going on, the lives that were lost. People came together, and that's one way that he speaks to us. And sometimes him not speaking to us could be him answering our question or our prayers. His silence could be like, hey, you should keep doing that, or no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't pursue this person. You shouldn't pursue that dream or that goal. That could be one way that he speaks to us. And the next verse that I have is Psalms 37:7, and it's, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourselves over who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. And I think one thing that God really wants us to do, it even states it here, is that he just wants us to be still. We're always on the go, always busy, doing 1,000 things at 1,000 miles an hour. And if we just sit still, that may be our problem. We're not sitting still and really wanting to hear his voice. We're on the go and wanting to hear it, but sometimes we just need to sit and listen, just sit in silence and just chill out for 2 seconds. And no doesn't mean no. It could just mean not yet. He could be saying, I'm not ready for you to go through this. I'm not ready. You're not ready. You're not mature enough. You haven't been healed enough. You don't have a good enough relationship with me yet. But one day when you get there, you will. No doesn't always mean no completely. I mean, sometimes it might, of course, but not 100% of the time. And we just have to remember that his plan is so much bigger than ours, that I know it's really hard for me, especially to remember when people are like, oh, what are you going to do after college? What are you getting a degree in? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. And sometimes it's kind of nerve-wracking, but then I just have to remember, God's never going to leave me without a job, without support, without help. I will always have something there as a backbone, and he's never just going to leave me flat and dry, not flying dry. And God knows your desires, and he wants you to talk to him about it. He wants you to turn to him. He wants you to see him as the person that can help you through anything. And I think a lot of times I abuse him and I don't turn to him. I turn to my friends, or I'll just vent, or I'll vent to him, but I'm not really praying about things to be fixed. And I have, to finish out, I have one song verse that I really like, and it goes like this. Let me find it. It's, he'll never stop loving us no matter how far we run. He'll never give up on us. All of heaven shouts, let the future begin. And I think that's really cool, because once we turn to him, that is when our future begins, and that's when we can really start to grow with him, and that's when everything just turns around for the better. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and if you needed to know how to hear God's voice, or if you were struggling with that, I hope that this can help you. Just remember to pray about it, and just pray to him, saying, hey God, I need to hear you. I want to hear you. Please help me. So I hope that you can share this with somebody who needs to hear it, or keep it in mind for yourself. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.